right, so let me go back. We'll try again. So this is just best practices for searching. It's really very simple. These are things you'll find in any database. So the time is the best filter to remove events quickly, and more search terms will limit the events more efficiently, giving you fewer hits. Specific terms will be more accurate and not as expensive. Anything that does not include this word is a broad category that will cost a lot of CPU and give you a lot of results. So if you have wildcards, you should put them at the end of a word, not at the beginning or the middle. It's much more expensive to search with wildcards in the beginning or the middle. And if you specify the index, that's recommended. You can use OR to specify multiple indices. If you do not specify the index, which they don't recommend, then you'll get results from multiple indices. So here they're searching for product name is Dream Crusher and not specifying the index, so they get web and sales indices results. And that's the way I usually do it in Boss of the SOC, because all the data is in one index, but it's not a recommended procedure at a company. And let me just check and see if there are comments in the, oh, okay, good. All right, thank you for telling me. All right, so, all right, that was pretty simple anyway. All right, so the search language. Here's the components. You have a hit words you're looking for, and then you have a pipe to take those events, this data, and put it in something which execute commands on it, like statistics sum. And you have a function, and then you can have clauses that like rename it, and then you can have another pipe to do further conversion of the data, turning it into a $sign followed by a comma formatted dollar amount. All right, and so you got search terms, you have commands, functions, arguments, and clauses. These are the components of their language. And so you'll see it here. You have your database, you look for hits, and then you have a table of results, and then you do some kind of summarize. This will perhaps create a new table, and then you can have another one here where you do something else to it. That's the way you go. All right, and this pattern is the same in Python, and for that matter in Bash, and in PowerShell. You can have one command pipe to another command, pipe to another command to make a composite operation. So you can put a carriage return after each pipeline, or before each pipe. That's one way to make it look prettier. All right. And the colors help you. The main thing I do is I make a mistake of putting lowercase or and then it doesn't take effect. If you put in capital letters, it changes color, and then you know you've got it right. And so it's orange for Boolean operators, and commands are in blue, and functions are in purple. So that's the way it is. You can turn them off. And I think it's got turned off on one of my Boss of the SOC ones. In fact, let me take a look at that. If I go here, I wanted to demonstrate some stuff here. So Splunk 2, all right. All right. If I go to search here, and I search for login or fail. Yes, the colors are not appearing. I noticed this before. So let's see if I can turn it back on. This slide tells me how. Preferences, SPL Editor, Themes tab. I'm already in trouble. How do I get to preferences? Well, system. Maybe here, preferences editor. Right. Well, I'm not having any luck at all getting any of this stuff to work. There should be a menu that appears. All right. Let me try the other one and see if it's going to work for me. I may have to restore that one from the backup. Seems like parts of it are not working. Let's see if this one works. All right. No, I also, well, that's bizarre. None of these menus will come up. I suspect it must be my browser or something. Well, anyway, we'll carry on. I don't think I really need to demonstrate that, and the rest of it seems to work. Very odd. All right, anyway. All right, if you do pipe to table, it'll create a table, including the fields you specify, and we've used this, I think, last time in the Boss to the SOC. So you can make a table with each event on a row and only the columns you choose. You can rename fields if you like, give them a different name. So source type equals access combined, we'll change it. Indexes web. And so you do it this way. This searches for things, and you rename product ID as product ID, rename action as customer action, and so on. Just a way to make the outputs prettier, which is often very important. As you know, technical people have abbreviated names for things in tables, and when you hand it off to other people, it's often a lot better to give it a better name, especially when you're going up the chain to management. If you rename a field, then you can't refer to it again. So here you rename product ID as capital, and if you refer to it again later, you have to use the new name. So here, you rename status as HTTP status, so if you make a table with status, you have to use the new name. That's a thing to be aware of. And that's also common with pipes. Each pipe changes the data. All right. And so fields let you pick particular fields to be included in your search or report. You can include them or exclude them. And here's a few examples of that. Here I have indexes security, and a source type is Linux secure, fail star, or invalid. But here I want to retrieve only certain data. And I guess they're not showing me the command to retrieve the data, which is a little unprofessional. But anyway, it'll be faster. This took 1.4 seconds, this takes 0.7 seconds to retrieve only certain data instead of getting all the data. It's not a very good example, but anyway, that's the point of it. Dedupe removes duplicates. So if you pipe to dedupe by vendor, here I have beach games, 3 different rows for beach games. Here I've deduped it, so I get just one combined row. All right. And you can sort, yeah?
So that example of beach games, the vendor city is different for each one of those, well.
Yeah, vendor and vendor city. So it'd be vendor and vendor city. So you have 2 beach games because they have different cities.
Can you dedupe them?
Yeah, it's deduped them so you don't have a duplicate. For example, here's Beantown, Boston, Beantown, Boston.
So it's just the beach game Miami that got deduped.
What's that?
It kept the vendor city, that's what I was
Yes, it keeps any unique combination of vendor and vendor city. It'll remove it only if there's a duplicate of both vendor and vendor city. Yeah. One thing that's not incredibly clear to me is what would happen if the rest of it was different. And I don't know if, yeah, here, no, beach games, Miami, Florida, yeah, okay. I wonder if there were the difference over here, if it would still just take the first one and remove the other, and I guess it would.
Beach games Paris, Texas, beach games Paris, France.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to play with it and see what it does in a case like that. All right, and then you can sort, of course. You can sort by anything, and you can limit the number of results you want to have if you like. And you can sort ascending or descending. All right, and all the options you'd expect are there. All right. And then the transforming commands, and hopefully I can do a couple of demos of these like you've seen them before. These are quite important. So if you, let me go to my boss of the SOC here, and I guess I'll go to this one. All right, so if I look for, say, HTTP, let's just do that. If I go to source types, yes. All right, I go to stream HTTP. All right, now I'm going to go to, yeah, I need to have all time, and then I'm going to get a lot of them. Okay, let me just go to something I'm familiar with doing here. So if I turn on sampling and I go to all time, I'll get some results. And then I'm just trying to think of a way to limit it. Well, here's a timeline. So let's try limiting it by time. That would be a good thing to do. Yeah, I have August 10th, 2016. Let's zoom in. I think if I click on that, yeah, it's supposed to zoom in. There we go. Yep. All right, so here we are. If I click and drag, it should restrict it to that time. Looks like deselect format timeline, zoom to selection. All right, so I've got only 6 events here. So by restricting the time, I got 6 events. And now I should be able to play games with that. Like I should be able to pipe it to sort by, say, destination IP. Make sure they're not all the same. Now, they are all the same. Let's sort by HTTP comment. All right. And now, I think these are alphabetic. Yeah. All right, and I'm getting more than 6. I'm now getting 9. That's a little screwy. Oh, I'm doing sampling, that's why. Okay. So sampling will be a little random each time. And let's see what else I'd like to do. I can make a table. I can make a table of time and IP address. Let's try that. Table underscore time and destination IP. All right. All right, there you see it. And I could rename it. It's rename, isn't it? Let's go back and take a look at that. I might as well do that while I'm here. It was renaming. Rename name as name. Okay, so I should be able to rename dest IP as IP address. Let's see what that does. Well, maybe I do. Oh, included all them as fields. Maybe I do need a pipe. Let's try a pipe. And if all else fails, I have to go back and look at the slides for an example. Oh, good, that did it. Good, thank you. All right. All right, and then we're going to do top. So if I change the sampling so we have more, now I have 78 events, and I could put this to top, and I'd only get the top 10. Oh, I have to say top by a field. So let me pick a field. I'll do top by IP address. I don't think the spaces matter. Let's see, though. I should be able to top by IP address. And there are 80 all with one IP address. There is no variation there. All right. Anyway, that's top. And I think by default it's 10. You can change it with a limit to show more. And there are various versions of that. Top will give you the count of a single field. And you can show percentages if you want to instead of counts. And you can change a single field by a clause, and then you'll have 2 fields. So you have advertisements and then the username and then the count there. So you can have it broken out using more than one field. All right, you can rename fields, of course. And you can use rare to see the least likely events, like the opposite of top, where you see those are the most likely events. And you have stats to do all the common statistics like count, average, sum, and so on, as you'd expect. All these things have to be there. And so I'll count the number of matching events. And if you count a field, it'll count where that field is present, and it will not count events where that field is not present. All right. And by will give you a field count by each value of that field broken out. You can have any number of fields to do that. And you can do a distinct count, which will count how many unique values there are. So these are the options you'll find in any database or spreadsheet solution. They have to be here for this reason. All right, and you can, if you have a numerical value, you can do things like average and I think standard deviation and things like that. You can do average, and you can list all the values, and Not sure we have standard deviation, although I thought it was in here. All right, you can format these tables, you can color code the columns, you can add number formatting and dollars formatting, all that stuff to make it look pretty, which is, going to be necessary for any business class product. All right, and that's really all there is there. So let's try a Kahoot about that stuff, and then we'll get back to Boss the Sock. So, the Kahoots are here, and all right, this is CNET 50 mod 7 to 9. All right. Oh my, bunch of people online. Orange milk. Oh my, people still coming in. All right. All right. All right, so what's the most efficient filter? Time, of course, that's what they say. All right, so how do you calculate statistics? That's a command. Good. All right, which component is always in black letters? Assuming you can get the colors turned on, which I can't. Yeah, the search terms are always in black letters, default. The only thing you always have to have there. All right, and what command will count events? Oh, yeah, a minute. Time. Yeah. All right, stats is what you use to count. Good. All All right. Good. All right, so let's get rid of this. Come on, go away. There we are. So Jay Wu. All right. Two of these are real names anyway. I think Greg. I hope they're real names. Actually, Mom will have to tell us who they are if they want their points. All right. Good. All right. Let me stop this recording.